Butterflies fill my spine, I feel myself getting hot again. Nerves rushing through my brain, yeah, they can't hear fire from the trees. You're standing by his side, red drops burning down your face. You're real close now, baby. Holy fuck, I feel it with you. I lose self-control. Now I found that you're not one to hear me now. You got me on my knees begging for your lady. And like a fool to stand around and let you blame me. And I'm riding in the sky to the heavens like an
Hi, my name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, I got a very special guest, professional wrestler Paul Hudson. Paul, who goes by many names. Connor Murphy,
Yep.
Hazard,
Yep.
and Zip Monk. I'm curious to find out how did you come up with Zip Monk?
Zip Monk was actually a character, my good buddy Luke Robert, who I've traveled all the roads
Right.
with and all across the country. He had this wild idea to do a movie. Is always coming up with crazy ideas of how like indie wrestling can be an even bigger production. And we've worked through a whole bunch of companies that he felt just weren't hitting that spot.
Right.
So he decided to make his own YouTube movie. And again, there was just a bunch of cast of characters, and that was the one I ended up with. I was actually going to the building thinking I was going to be a flying squirrel, and we ended up on Zip Monk somehow. So that's who that is.
Well, now, Luke Robert, he was in that Tough Enough, correct? No?
No, that's Luke Robinson.
Oh, okay. All
That's
right.
Luke
I was going to
Robinson.
say, wow, because I think Luke Robinson really won the thing, and I was kind of pissed that he didn't get
Yeah.
the win. That was
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous. All right, but before we get going, I want to just acknowledge that on last Thursday, August 7th, Robbie Ellis passed away. Yeah. Robbie had a career of like 46 years in wrestling or something like that. And he wrestled the who's who of New England indie talent.
Yeah.
You wrestled them a lot.
Yeah. When I broke into the business when I was 17 in like 2001, he was a mainstay there.
Right.
So I wrestled him multiple times all over the state, even out of state, other states in New England. Yeah, I wrestled him quite a few times.
Well, rest in peace, Robbie Ellis. And also, real quick, Hulk Hogan passed away on July 24th, and I don't think I even mentioned it last week. So rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. But this is all about you, Paul. So let's get right into it, the fan questions. Mark Moman, who says he's one of your best friends, or you're one of his best friends.
Yeah.
When will he do a live performance of Lose Your Mind and Rap Me to the Ring?
So I don't know why he's asking through you, because he's already asked me to my face 1,000 times. I've said no every single
Really?
time. Yes, it's a completely different world, the rap world and the
Right.
wrestling world, and to his credit, he picked that theme song back in like 2003 and has stayed with that theme song his entire career. So I do take a compliment from that, but I'm probably never going to rap that to the ring for him.
All right, see, there you got your answer, Mark. Sorry, buddy. Randy Carver Jr., perfect guest. That's what he said. Perfect guest.
Randy, I can't say enough good things about Randy. Again, I broke into wrestling in Maine in like 2001, and Maine wrestling scene was what it was.
Right.
And again, I don't want to, everybody was putting in their best effort, but Randy has really reinvigorated that scene to an extent that I didn't even understand at first. So when I got my first booking through him, I had left Maine and gone to Florida. I trained down there with Scott Hall at Scott Hall School. Like in my mind, I thought I had to go to Florida in order to make it.
Right.
And when I came back to Maine, I ended up getting booked by Randy, and I didn't realize how big he had made it already. And I don't want to say underappreciated it, but it didn't hit me until I was in the ring that I was like, this does not feel like Maine wrestling. And luckily, him and I have stayed in contact and have a good working relationship that he has given me opportunity after opportunity. And I'm currently having a blast at what I'm doing in Limitless, and I can't thank him enough.
Just this past Saturday.
Yes, just
Right?
this past Saturday.
So what happened at Limitless with you?
So with me, well, first again, I want to give Randy his flowers. He just
absolutely.
filled the Lewiston Coliseum with, I think, 2,500 people.
That's amazing.
For an indie wrestling show in Maine, in Lewiston. I didn't have a big part, but I had a small part, and I think I made the most of that part. But I have an ongoing feud with a couple guys in the company, and I just made my presence known. As soon as I saw a ref get knocked out, I saw my opportunity to go in and get involved. So, again, the chills, being in that environment with only the lamps and the lights, and just a sea of people in the distance and hearing them all boo, it was crazy.
That's awesome. Randy has been doing such great work in Maine. I mean, really, he's a hard-working young kid.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really think of a young kid like that to be doing so well.
No, he is driven.
Yeah.
And again, going into it, I didn't know how young he was when he started. So when I started learning how old he is now, I was like, wait a minute, but you've been here since, what? You've been doing this since 19, 20 years old?
Yeah.
Wild.
Incredible. All right, Sonny Roselli, were you the first graduate of Larry Huntley's wild, wacky school of pro wrestling?
I don't think I'm the first graduate. I want to say Fandango might be the first graduate because he was before me. No, not bad at all, right? In my class, it was me, it was Rugged Rick Daniels, it was Flash Nick McKenna, and a guy named Louis Barboza.
Yeah.
Rick, unfortunately, just retired recently because of medical conditions. So did Nick McKenna.
Right.
So, but they all had long careers doing what we love doing.
Right.
So no, I don't think I can take credit as the first graduate, but I'm still going.
Nice. Larry's a great guy, man. I've known him for like 25 years. Anthony Miller, and I don't understand this question. How many bodies has he catched? Does he mean caught?
Caught.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so,
Anthony.
Obviously, my 23 hazard gimmick, I came to catch a body, is kind of like my tagline.
Right.
He's a fan that goes to a lot of shows.
He's a really good fan.
Right. He loves to hate.
Oh, yeah,
so
he does.
he haggles me at a lot of shows. But I know the support is there, so it's very appreciated. But I catch everybody I step in the ring with.
Nice. Thanks, Squeaks. Jason Rumble. Talk about your experience working for the Washington Redskins. And I was like blown away. I didn't know you worked for the Redskins. Were you a scout or something?
So I wasn't a scout. So obviously, like, I've had different legs and different forms of entertainment. Growing up, I was always a football guy. Like, my dad raised me as a Redskins fan, and I just became really, really into it. And then, like, I started like writing articles online, like just free base, like fan written, like whatever. And I started writing, and I was writing pretty consistently, like after each game. And like, I'm a very like a student of the game, so I like breaking down the film. I like getting the all 22. I like seeing where everybody's supposed to be, what went wrong, what went right. And I started posting articles about that. And then one week, I think I had a wrestling show like all weekend. Like I was on a tour, and I didn't post that week. And the website emailed me. It was like, hey, why didn't you post? And I was like, I didn't even realize like the website was paying attention. They're like, how would you like it if we started paying you to keep putting out content? And I was like, that is awesome. So I started doing that to the point where other websites started trying to contact me. Vox Media. I started with Super Bowl Nation, went through Vox Media, and then I ended up started working for Scout.com. So I would work and do draft profiles, watch people in college. Kids in college would send me their tape. I'd tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and I did end up getting like media credentialed to cover the Redskins. Yeah.
That's wild. All right. Bo Douglas, I love this one too. Kenny Omega, Danny Duggan. Now, I know you wrestled them both early in all your careers, along with Cameron Matthews.
Yeah. So when Kenny Omega and Danny Duggan came down to Maine, I think they came down for like a tour. I think towards the end of the tour, we had a big tag match, me and Cameron Matthews versus
Right.
Danny Duggan and
watched
Kenny
it
Omega.
today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was awesome. It
Thank
really
you.
was.
Thank you. So that was like, obviously nobody knew who, like,
Right.
they didn't know us, we didn't know them,
Yep.
but we had such chemistry and things just flowed so easy. And we ended up having a really good match. I mean, back then, there was this website called the New England Inside?
Yes.
New England Independent.
Yes,
And they
yes.
wrote like a very glowing article about that match. And it was very cool to have that kind of recognition. So,
Nice. Now, how does it feel to wrestle someone that nowadays people say he's the best wrestler in the world? Which I don't agree with you, but Kenny is one of the best.
yeah.
I consider Randy Orton the best wrestler in the world.
All right.
But that's just my opinion.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kenny Omega is awesome. But you know who I really am more interested in talking to you about is Danny Duggan, who's become a freaking incredible wrestler
Yes,
himself.
he has. Yes, he has.
Running his own company and everything. Have
Yes.
you worked for him up?
I haven't worked
Okay.
for him yet. I have talked to him a few
Right.
times, but not about bookings, just kind of
Yeah.
how life is. But seeing him go all over the place as well
Yeah.
before he even started doing his stuff, I was very, very happy for him.
Nice, yeah, very talented, both those guys. All right, John Patrick used to work with this guy for, I think it's Patrick.
Yep.
Used to work with this guy for a few years. Greatest supervisor you could ask for. Tell him I said hi. Big love from Brown. I'm happy to see he's made it so far in his wrestling career. And how long will Jaden Daniels till he gets a Super Bowl ring? He's a hell of a quarterback, man.
I'm hoping
He really is.
I'm hoping he gets one within the next 5 years. Yeah, John. So when I moved back from Florida and decided that I moved to Florida to do wrestling, pursue
Right.
wrestling when it didn't feel like it was going that way. I ended up coming back and deciding I need a career to fall back on. So I ended up getting into juvenile corrections. So I work with a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Trying to get them back on track before we send them back out. It's a lot of services, a lot of therapeutic stuff. And yeah, I did work with him. And we had a good team. Again, we worked with detained kids, so
Right.
kids that were waiting for court, and we were just kind of like assessing them, understanding what went wrong, why it went wrong, how we can do better when they get back out into the community. And yeah.
That's awesome. It's got to be pretty satisfying when you see the kids doing well.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
really.
so that is where I did that for about 10 years,
Wow.
and I've now graduated to like a juvenile probation officer. So now
nice.
one of the hardest parts of that job was you would help get the kids ready to go out, but then once they left the building, you just had to hope it all went well.
Right.
So not just sending them out into the unknown didn't feel as great to me. So now I'm a probation officer. So like as soon as they're involved in stuff, I'm there and I
Right.
can be an advocate and I can help in the home and I can help with the family dynamics if there's services that need to be provided just to get them back on the right track. And lo and behold, the 23 Hazard character that I play, a lot of it is pulled from those kids. That's
Okay.
the inspiration I
Nice.
have because I run into a lot of kids and again, I'm having the most fun I've had in wrestling, but they are my inspiration. So I like that I'm able to put them on the right track and still pull something out of it
Right.
for myself.
That's pretty awesome. All right, Dave Harding. What moment in your career tested you the most and was a major turning point for you?
The hardest point, probably again moving to Florida and realizing maybe that's not so. Like when I moved, you got to remember I've been in this game for like 23, 24 years.
Right.
So there wasn't social media,
Yeah.
there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't anything. So back then it was like if you don't live in Florida around the big companies, like you're not going to be seen. So I did go down to Florida and then wrestled there for about 3 years, and then it just didn't feel like it was sparking.
Right.
So again, I came back to Maine. I ended up finding a career. It's weird. Different people go different routes. Either they dedicate everything to wrestling and then they have to find a career.
Right.
Or they find a career and now I can pay to do all my wrestling stuff
Right.
because now like I can travel and I can go wherever I want. But that is what tested me, is feeling like maybe this wrestling thing isn't for me. But again, credit to Randy.
Right.
Limitless. I went to their shows. I'm like, oh my God, this is alive and well. And then social media started kicking in, and then your footage started going all over the place. Yeah, that was my ability to rebound. And then again, working with these kids and finding this new character. I was in the character I was doing before, the Irish gimmick. It was very stale. It was very
Conor Murphy.
right. It was very
It's a great name, though. Honestly,
Right,
sounds
right.
like a tough Irish dude.
right. But I'd get the Sheamus comparisons. I would and because I was starting a career in the public field, I had to be a good guy.
Right,
So
right.
it was like I didn't want any like negative buzz on me. So now I feel like I'm established enough that I can go back and do
Right.
what I'm doing now.
All right. Last question. Tim Murray, and I talked to you about I'm going to make you explain the web juice.
So Web Juice is a song I put out. Again, I didn't know what kind of entertainment field I was going in. I'd already been wrestling. A bunch of my friends were rapping and making music and stuff, so I ended up getting involved in that. Cameron Matthews needed a entrance song, so him and I came up with this Web Juice thing that he liked saying. So I ended up making a song called Web Juice.
All right. When did you meet Cameron Matthews? Because you guys have been like associated for pretty much the beginning of your career.
Yeah, he again, he's another one I can't sing enough praises for. I'm sure you're going to ask about a bunch of other things that I'm going to give him credit for. We actually met. So when I started, there was two companies really in Maine. There was RPW and then there's EWA.
Right.
So I was working for EWA, but not as a wrestler. They said I was too small. I was selling concessions, and then I started reffing.
Okay.
Right. So I was training all the time with Larry, but I was reffing.
Right.
And Luke used to come to the shows, and at one time he contacted me and was like, "Hey, do you want to actually wrestle a match?" And at that time, RPW was looked down upon, but
Right.
at that point, like I didn't care.
Right,
Like
of course.
I wanted to get involved.
Right.
So I ended up going there, getting squashed by Legion Cage, but it was awesome. Like it
Right.
was in the ring, it was in front of fans, and I was wrestling, and I wasn't a referee. So he gave me my break, and then we ended up becoming a tag team like almost immediately.
Right.
At that time, he was wrestling in a mask, and I was doing a boy band character, and we ended up making a boy band. So
Nice. Now, who was running the company? There was a Scott King and Dr. Heresy, or who was
Scott
running
King
EWA?
and Steve Ramsey.
Steve Ramsey,
were
that's it.
running EWA
Okay.
at the time.
All right, excellent. All right, I just want to touch base on some of the companies you worked for. I mean, like you said, you worked for Limitless, but I mean, you worked for Larry at NAWA.
Yep.
You worked some Chaotic.
Yep.
You wrestled from Main Ring Wars, Fight Life, EWA, RPI. Or was it RPI? No, RP. What are you just talking about?
RPW.
RPW, yeah. And also Main Premier Wrestling, NWA Power.
Yep.
NWA Chicago Fire.
Yep.
Let's Wrestle, which is affiliated with Limitless. AAW in Chicago, New Wrestling Horizons, and Rampage Pro Wrestling.
That's RPW.
That's RPW. Okay, great. And your tag team with Cameron was 69 Degrees.
Yes.
How'd you guys come up with the name?
It was the boy band
boy-
thing.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
98 degrees, so
Right,
we were
right.
69 degrees. Obviously, the joke is that's not really even that hot. So, like, it was just
That's awesome.
teenage, immature. Again,
Yeah.
we got in when we were 17. So, I think I was 17, he was 16. So, again, we've been wrestling that long.
I think the first time I've seen you wrestled for George Carroll at NEWA in like Quincy or Braintree. Am I
Okay.
correct about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
In like 2003 maybe, 2000?
I'm not great with dates, but yeah, probably.
But yeah. George used to run, and I used to sell my merchandise at
Oh,
his
all
shows. George is a freaking great guy, and he's killing it in wrestling
Yeah.
right now. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the companies you work for, like New Wrestling Horizons, which I seem to find that you had more matches for them than any other company, I think. Am I right?
Yes. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would guess so.
So who ran New Wrestling Horizons?
That was Larry and Sonny.
That was Larry and Sonny. Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. And then you did wrestle for Chaotic a couple times, or?
Yeah. Even recently, me and Chase are really
Nice.
Chase is another mentor to
Yeah.
me. He's a really good guy, and
He knows his stuff.
He does know his stuff.
He knows stuff. He's got a killer school, killer company.
yeah,
You know, awesome.
he's doing it right.
Yeah, he is. He really is. All right. But so when you first wrestled for Chaotic, was Fury the owner, or was it Chase?
I want to say Chase.
Oh, okay.
I didn't wrestle for Chaotic until me and Luke were working together as the competition. So we were 69 Degrees, and then we rebranded as the competition after like COVID happened and all that stuff. Again, we were taking a long break, and then we ended up going to Chaotic after that. So it was Chase.
Nice. Chase was the silent partner when Fury, because I had to ask him right here. I'm
Yeah.
like, were you the silent partner? He's like, yeah. Chase is really killing it, man, right now. So NWA Power, how did you get booked there?
It's Luke.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good friend, man.
Yeah,
You got a really good friend.
Yeah. Luke is really good at communicating and getting contacts and just networking.
Right.
So he was able to get us out there. He also got us to AAW. That's him. That's all him.
Now, can I ask you, who runs AEW?
AEW?
AAW in Chicago. I have no idea.
Danny
Daniels.
Yes.
All right.
Danny Daniels.
Nice. All right. Now, main Ring Wars.
Yep.
How did you get booked there? Was it because he already knew you, or?
Yeah, so Eric Johnson used to run IEW.
Right.
I mean, IWE. Again, the company's been rebranded and rebranded and rebranded and rebranded over whether it's NWH, whether it's IEW, whether it's the IWE, whatever. It's just been rebranded so many times. But I mean, Eric Johnson and I have worked on many, many shows together, and he needed some guys.
Nice. Now, Eric teamed up with Brandino Davis, correct?
Yep.
They were a really good team. Brandino's one of my favorite people I've ever met in wrestling. I actually posted that today because it came up in my memories.
Yep.
But all right. So let's play the name game.
Okay.
Anthony Green.
Great friend. So let me tell you a story about him. He had always been around wrestling, and Luke again was like, hey, I know this kid, like, I think he's gonna be really good. And I was like, all right. Again, this is when I was like stepping away from wrestling, so my care was on my career and whatever. But I was living out of Massachusetts, and him and Anthony Green showed up to a birthday, took me out. We ended up going to like Dave & Buster's or something. And then Anthony Green gave me a promo picture of him for my birthday. And he was like making a muscle, and he was like 150 pounds.
Right.
And I was like, look at this crazy stuff. And then he did exactly what Luke said he was going to do, and he is absolutely thriving. I was just on a show with him last night and the night before.
Right.
We did the Limitless on Saturday, and then we wrestled EWA on Sunday. So
I always say that there's nobody in wrestling that loves wrestling more than Anthony Green. You can love it as much, but I really don't think anybody loves it as much as he does.
Right, and he's one of the smartest guys in wrestling.
Yeah, and that Japanese run he's been having is really, really good. All right, how about Johnny Pierce?
Johnny Pierce. So we tagged in Chaotic one time, and since then we've been trying to tag at different times since, just because we have very similar characters. And again, my character is a lot of bark, not a lot of bite. So to stand behind a guy like him who's like 6'6" and be like, hold me back, we have been trying to tag at least once or twice, whether it be NAWA or one of the fair shows, and hopefully that happens.
Nice. Have you worked for Green Mountain?
No, I haven't yet, but that is, if NAWA it doesn't happen there, that's going to be my next my next stop.
All right. You brought him up earlier, Legion Cage.
Legion Cage. Again, another smart guy in wrestling. And again, he brought me in, gave me my first match. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was the squash match. We were wrestling at his high school, and he just needs someone who could bump crazy for him, and that ended up being me. So.
Awesome.
Good dude, funny guy.
How about Mike Osborne?
I love Psycho Mike. Psycho Mike was another one.
So good when he was around.
I know.
So
and
good.
He was one of those guys who came from RPW and broke the mold from that kind of, like, again, what that show was. So we ended up wrestling each other at WFA in New Hampshire for Steve Bradley. And obviously we had a bunch of matches in Maine, but he was another guy that I loved sharing a locker room with.
Yeah, he was incredible. How about Tommy Knoxville, also known as Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, Tommy. We shared a lot of locker rooms together. Loved his character. PWF Northeast is probably where we saw each other the most. I forgot about that company.
Yeah.
So PWF Northeast was another one that.
For the Storms.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. All right. How about you took these guys on, I think, a couple of times. The Lost Souls, Brian Malonis and Peter Malloy.
I don't recall that.
Really? No, I did. I read it too.
Maybe at NEWA. So me and Luke have been 69 degrees. We were the high risk hazards, and then we were the competition. We wrestled a couple matches of high risk hazards. That might have been that match.
Right.
But I don't.
You don't remember wrestling Malonis, huh? Mm-mm. Man, he just walked away.
Yeah,
walked
he
away
did.
from wrestling. Man,
He did.
what a talent he was.
I know. I saw him
I should say.
before he walked away. He did a show up in Maine, so I got to share the locker room again. He was excited to see me as well, and it was just like old times.
Brian's a great guy. He really is. All right, we asked a question from him earlier. Timmy Kilgore.
I love Tim Kilgore. Tim Kilgore is one of the more unique personalities in wrestling, with always a crazy good perspective, not only just in wrestling, but in life.
Right.
But he was always he was another one. Him and KL Murphy were tagging in EWA when I was reffing, and they were a lot more my size and a lot more my style, so I loved watching them work.
Yeah, he's promoting now too at Cabra Wrestle.
Yep.
Doing really well.
Yeah,
He actually hit me up and said, when am I going to go? I said, stop running in Rhode Island. Run closer and I'll gladly go. Tim's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, how about Brian Black?
Brian Black, he was again
Big
one of
dude.
the main names in EWA when I first started. Standing next to him, you don't realize how big he is until you're standing next to him, and he was one of the better shaped guys, and you just knew that he was going to have eyes on him from higher up, and he ended up going to WWE.
Right. And it's a shame that people are friggin' bullies. You know, honestly, it really is. I mean, and I loved it that when JBL got knocked out by Joey Styles. Karma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Brian Black's a good dude.
Yeah.
How about Max Smashmaster?
Max, I wrestled him a couple times. Again, when I came back to Chaotic with Luke and we were the competition, we wrestled him and Mortar. He was going by Cruz.
He was going by Cruz.
He was going by Cruz at the time, and they were running their own story about him taking him under his wing.
Right.
But Max Smashmaster is one of the most athletic guys I've seen at his size.
Big guy.
Yeah, him doing Asai moonsaults at his size.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, Mortar is awesome, man. Really, and he's the Chaotic Wrestling Champion.
Me and Mortar actually wrestled. So I'm the EWA heavyweight champion, and we just wrestled for that title. I want to say a couple weeks ago, and it was when you're in the ring with somebody who knows what they're doing, you don't have to say anything. It's so easy. Yeah. And it was one of the more fun matches I've had when we just let the crowd dictate how the match was going to go, and it was really fun.
Yeah, it was great to watch him from when he was on the show 6 years ago.
Yep.
Just keep slowly climbing, man. And I was there when he won the title.
And he's not done climbing.
No, he's definitely not done climbing. Exactly. All right. How about, I know you wrestled The Haven.
The Haven.
Jay Onyx and Sean Knight, who are starting to really kill it. You wrestled them a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, so they, I met them at a show down in, I believe in Massachusetts, and then when we had a show in Maine, we didn't have opponents, so I advocated for them to come up. I believe Luke advocated for them too, because we wanted to work with them, and they ended up coming up, and we ended up having a pretty good match.
Yeah, they're really good. And actually, they're kind of their partners in the same stable, the Miracle Generation, Dustin Waller and Kylon King.
So I haven't wrestled the two of them, but I've wrestled Dustin Waller, and again, he's another one who knows what he's doing, super athletic. You can ask him to do anything, and he's right there with it. So another really talented guy, and I love what they're doing. They are traveling all over the place.
Everywhere.
And they're putting tag team wrestling on right now, so I'm proud of them.
Absolutely. All right, Scott King.
Scott King. Scott King is. So again, when I was in EWA, there's nobody I wanted approval from more than Scott King and Steve Ramsey. Because
Right.
again, we went through the whole thing where I couldn't change how small I was. I was amateur wrestling at the time because I was in high school, so I had to make a certain weight.
Right, right.
So I had to keep cutting for that, but they were telling me I'm too small. So like what's crazy is like I was still doing well in training, and Scott King finally came to me and was like, we're going to involve you in a story, because I was refereeing, and I was going to end up being the heel ref that was bought off by
Nice.
Alexander Worthington III,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, back then we were telling stories for like a long period of time. So it was a build up, and when it finally turned, EWA shut down.
Wow.
So I did not get to wrestle after that. It got moved to Massachusetts. I did work down there as a referee for them, but it didn't come full circle until Adam Booker opened up EWA again, and Scott King was there. I'd put on some size, and it was finally like, he was like, hey, I've seen a lot of your work recently. Really, really like what I see. And it was like, oh my God, I've been looking for that for like 23 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Adam Booker.
Adam Booker, another really, really good friend of mine in the business. So when I was training with Larry, Adam was not necessarily a trainer, but he was there all the time, just putting us through the ringer. And he was at the time a bigger name around the scene.
Right.
Like he was getting booked all over the place, and he was the next big thing because he was a dude with size. He could move.
Right.
His matches were awesome. He was having 4-star, 5-star matches every weekend. So to be able to work with him, who was at that high of a level, was awesome. And when he contacted me and told me he was opening EWA again, I was like, I'm there. I'm on it.
Nice.
I'm with. And then you'd have to ask him, but I ended up coming away with the EWA heavyweight title, which is a complete full circle moment for me to, again, I started as a 17-year-old kid posting on their message board, just talking trash to wrestlers on there, to selling concessions, to refereeing, to it shutting down, and then coming around full circle. Now I'm the heavyweight champion, and he's the guy who makes that call.
Right.
Like, that is, I can't thank him enough.
That's awesome. And he had a huge feud with Chase Del Monte,
Yes, he did.
because I actually did a 4-part series on New England feuds, and I had those guys in for one of the episodes.
They had
and
like ladder
man,
matches.
Oh, yeah, they had a lot of matches, man. And they had great chemistry, too, in the ring.
Yeah.
All right. I noticed you wrestled this guy, Kerry Morton, Ricky Morton's son.
Yes, I did. So the Mortons came up for a show for Vacation Land Wrestling, and a couple weeks before they came up, I tore my ACL at work. So it was supposed to be me and Luke versus the Mortons.
Right.
So it ended up being Mark Moment replaced me, because we've all grown up in wrestling together. So I was on the outside on crutches. So I missed that opportunity. But then when I got that opportunity to work for NWA down in Florida, I looked at the card and it said Hazard versus Kerry Morton. I was like, oh my God, I get to get my chance again. So great kid, super positive, like one of the more over-the-top positive guys you'll meet. Great guy. Match was easy, super talented. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I see him every year at the Gathering. I go to the Gathering in North Carolina, and he's always there.
Yeah.
Always wrestling on the show on Saturday. Always meeting people. Always treating people great.
Yeah.
Really great talent. How about Frankie Armadillo?
Frankie Armadillo was my favorite wrestler in EWA.
Nice.
I sorry to anybody else who that feelings that hurts, but Frankie Armadillo was my favorite wrestler because he was a heel. He didn't mind being funny. He didn't. He was an overseller. Like those are my kind of people, and he had like original moves, and I just loved the energy he brought.
Yeah, very, very, very talented kid. I haven't seen him wrestle in a long time.
No, it is hard to get him to come around. I've seen him maybe once at a show, and that is it. And that's like, so even at the Limitless shows, like a lot of the old EWA crew will get together, but he's usually not there. But I've seen him one time, and I was just like, again, it was like a celebrity.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Jason Rumble.
Jason Rumble.
I do a horrible Rumble impersonation.
Jason, I'm sure, but everybody has one.
Everybody has one.
Jason Rumble, again, huge star when I ended up in the ring with him.
Right.
And again, this is when we were doing Tuesday Buxton shows every week. So we're way out in the boonies in Maine. And then this guy came in and he was just shredded and oiled up, and he had the workout routine. And again, I was one of the heels at the time, so they put me in the ring with him. And again, it was just chemistry.
Right.
So bump and feed, like it was a good experience.
3-time NWA junior heavyweight champion too.
Right. So
Yeah.
then my work with him got
Yeah.
me booked with NWA New England, and I ended up becoming the X Division champion.
Nice.
Again, through my relationship with him.
Right. Yeah, Jason's a great guy. All right, one of Jason's best buds, Bo Douglas.
I love Bo Douglas.
I think everybody loves
Yeah,
Bo.
yeah. I don't see him enough. I wish
Right.
I saw him more. He's obviously got a trainee in Alec Price who's
Yeah.
killing it all over the scene now. Me and Bo Douglas teamed together once in South Portland, Maine at the Strive Center. And I wish we did more with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo is awesome. Bo knows. All right. Your trainer, Larry Huntley. You got any funny Larry stories?
I have a lot of Larry stories. I don't know if they're funny. No, Larry's just, I mean, as much as I thank everybody else, Larry is really the catalyst for me being in wrestling. Again, I was showing up as a kid, just helping build the ring, just helping any way. I came from pretty low income family.
Yeah.
So this was just my hobby, and he offered to train me for free.
Wow.
Maybe I shouldn't say that for the people who did have to pay, but
he liked you.
yeah, I busted my ass at the shows,
Right,
getting
right.
the rings all set up,
Yeah.
doing the concessions, doing all the grunt work, because I was just happy to be a part of it, right?
Right.
And again, he did take me under his wing, and he did not have to. So, and again, I'm his NAWA heavyweight champion right now, or North Atlantic heavyweight champion right now. I do as many shows for him as I can, but he's just always, as much as Maine wrestling has gone up and down, he has been the one consistent whatever, and he still loves it to the day he began.
Nice. And that's how you do get booked at places, by going and showing up and helping. Alec Price did that for Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah.
I was at the show, he kept trying to get on, wasn't on. Then I get there, he had his first match there.
Yeah.
The friggin' fans booed him out. I mean, they couldn't stand him.
Good.
For real, right?
Good.
I came back 3 weeks later, he was the most over guy in the building.
Right.
By far.
Right.
You know,
and
the
that
kid's
is
killing it.
Right. But that is a hard line to balance.
Right.
Because eventually if people hate you, they're going to love to hate you.
Right.
And then it turns to love. So you have to, it's such a fine line. So like in my mind, like I feel like I'm capable of doing stuff in the ring that fans will like, but I try to stay away from that because I don't want to turn that corner, and I'm trying really hard not to. At the same time, wrestling has evolved, and if you're not doing the cool, crazy stuff, you might get left behind. So it is very fine line. But yeah, Alec has had a great run as a heel and as a baby.
Yeah. Some incredible, kid's really killing it.
Yeah.
I talked about Robbie Ellis earlier, you know, and you know, gave condolences, said, you know, rest in peace. Do you have any Robbie Ellis stories? I know you wrestled him a lot.
Yeah, I did wrestle him a lot. I remember the matches being fun.
Yeah.
It was scary for me because, again, obviously I know his story, but you have a guy with that age in the ring, and you're just like, I mean, obviously you go into every match not wanting to hurt anybody, but it was like, oh, I got to be super whatever.
Yeah.
But again, it makes you more creative. It makes you more like, if you can work around certain things, you can still tell a story. And I feel like we were able to tell stories still.
That's awesome. Great. All right. Danny Miles.
Danny Miles, I'm a lot closer with him now, but I had one of my biggest matches of my career with him. So I ended up getting booked on a big time event at the Augusta Civic Center.
Okay.
With Ric Flair was on the card, Kevin Nash was on the card, Buff Bagwell was on the card, just a whole bunch of huge names. I ended up getting a match against Danny Miles. And we had, again, more chemistry. It's just real simple communication, like very easy going, very easy flowing, nothing forced. Crowd was super into it. We went to the back. Buff Bagwell was like, that was awesome. Like, you guys did like really crazy stuff that like isn't being done, but it was so simple and you guys weren't copying other people's moves. You guys had your own stuff and it was a very cool moment. So I owe Danny Miles for that. And again, but then I've started working Chaotic more recently, and I've been able to catch up with him. So that's
he's
awesome.
killing it. He had I was at a Beyond Big Time Wrestling show a couple of years ago. He wrestled Jay Lethal, and it was unbelievable. Alex Price was actually on that show, and he won the AJ Matrano Cup.
Oh yeah,
that night.
Yeah.
The Briscoes were there, the Hardy Boys. It was a great night of wrestling.
Nice.
I don't know if you remember this guy, but he's hurt right now. Mike Grassa.
Yeah, Mike Grassa. So I haven't had a lot of interaction with Mike Grassa. I was in a scramble match with him, MJF.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a 6-man scramble. And he hit me. He had this very, very cool move that he asked if I would take. It was like a rope hang tombstone, and I remember Hornswoggle was on commentary, and when he hit me with it, Hornswoggle just started screaming, "He's dead! He's dead! He's dead!" But other than that, I haven't had a lot of interactions with him.
Yeah, he had been killing it till he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's going to come back and kill it again.
Yeah.
He's going to be here in a couple weeks.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Mark Moment. You got anything you can tease him about?
Not tease him. Just I love the guy. He's a lovable character. He has been around the block and then some. He's been the Chaotic trainee that people only noticed for the shirt he was wearing to having matches with AJ Styles and really good matches. So there was, again, once Luke and I went to Florida, he was kind of the main guy and really carried things, and he got all the names that came up here, and he'd always send us matches and tell us, like, what do you think, and he had really good matches with those guys.
I've known him for over 20 years. Seriously, like he would wrestle for Rumble and all that down, in Malden, and that's how I got to know Mark. I've known him a long time. Do you know Dave Fournier? The wrestling fan, Dave Fournier?
Yeah, so he was around the EWA circle. So him and I ended up kicking it off because he was like a video camera guy and I was building the ring. Yep. So we were just like the EWA extras that would be like hanging out before the shows while everybody else went over their matches and whatever. Again, we were the ones doing the grunt work and whatever, so.
Yeah. He was taping the match with you and Danny Duggan and Kenny Omega.
Oh.
I actually took a picture of it as it was on, and I sent it to him. I haven't heard from him yet. But how about a guy that's really lost a lot of weight? Ace Romero, one of the best wrestlers in New England, too.
Ace Romero is probably my best friend.
Oh, really?
In wrestling and just again, through the stratosphere.
Right.
Right now, like him and I have been really close over the last 2 years. He had his own stuff going on before that, and then we started kind of traveling the road together because we lived kind of close together. Right. And we just built a bond. Again, we started hanging out right after COVID because we were doing the Limitless TV tapings. And then we started working out together. He wasn't happy with his job, so I kind of told him what I was doing. So now he's working with juveniles as well.
Good for him.
And he's killing it, not only in wrestling, but he's killing it at his job.
Nice.
They've done, like, News Center 6 has done specials on him because now he's a pro wrestling star who's been signed, who's now giving back to the community. And again, he's going through his fitness journey, and everything is just working out really well for him. And I couldn't be more proud of him.
Nice.
And the way he is going. Him and I wrestled just yet last night. It was him and Tommy Dreamer versus me and DJ Powers.
Oh, wow.
So that was a blast. I got involved in his match at
Yep.
Limitless. So like we just keep bumping into each other regardless. But no, he is killing it in every way, shape, and form right now. And I see even bigger things in his future.
Right. You just mentioned one of the nicest guys that I've ever met in wrestling, Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Tommy's a great guy. I've been on a couple shows with him, but like this is the first time I got to work with him.
Right.
So I got like more FaceTime with him, you know? So to sit there and you can tell how much he loves the business.
Sure does.
You can tell how much he loves the business. So we had a blast. Again, another easy match, but it was fun. It was entertaining. The crowd went home happy. And then we sat in the back and he just went from A to Z about like, just like the optics of wrestling
Right.
and what we were looking for and why it was a good match and what things we could work on and things he'd like to see. He even took the time to watch my promo before the match and was
nice.
like, oh, that was a good promo. So I appreciated that he even took the time. And again, I was appreciative that he took the time to sit down with us after the match and be like, this is what you should work on. This is what and give
Yeah.
us that kind of like, to know that he's still that involved, to be like,
Right.
like this is what it's supposed to look like is awesome.
You know something? I think he loves wrestling as much as Anthony Green.
Yeah.
I've actually catered for Tommy when he his House of Hardcore. I did his first show, his fifth show, and his 13th show.
Really?
Tommy's a class act.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I did it no charge.
Awesome.
All I needed was access for my grandson for all the wrestlers on the show, pictures and autographs.
Yeah.
Tommy's just an incredible guy. All right, you mentioned him, and he is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, and most likely the greatest heel, maybe of all time, MJF.
Yeah.
Now that was early in his career when you wrestled him, correct?
Earlier.
Yeah.
He was still. I think he had the momentum.
Okay.
I think, but it was before AEW started,
Right.
so he didn't quite get on that grand stage. But he's awesome. That's not what I'm having a hard time thinking of. I'm just jealous of his ability to stay in character all the time.
Right.
When you asked me to come doing this interview, I wanted to do it in character
Yeah.
because I'm very old school about if people see this side, then they're not going to believe the other side.
Right.
And my character is way different than
Yeah.
what I am
Well, we can do this again.
in person. All right, good.
We
Then
definitely can do it
all right,
again.
then I would love to do it in person.
All right.
But yeah, just his ability to always push that envelope, and he does that, and people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do the things he's doing, but he's doing it because that's how it used to be.
Right.
And that's how it always was.
Yeah.
And I'm a very old school, again, I've been doing this 23, 24 years, and I
Right.
grew up on like early 90s wrestling. And again, I don't know if I'm being left behind with the times because obviously wrestling has changes, but I still have that old school mentality.
Right.
So I love what he's doing.
All right, the favorite thing I've ever seen him do is he's behind the table and a kid comes up in the wheelchair, wheeling up, and he just looks at the kid, goes, and the kid goes, how you doing? He goes, better than you. And he stands up and starts walking around. You gotta
Yeah, see,
watch-
that is controversial.
That's incredible.
Right.
You know?
But if you understand wrestling, yeah.
Right. All right. How about one of the best probably the best, no offense,
No,
best tag team
okay.
to come out of Maine? Mainstay Posse. Those guys.
Those guys, yeah. So we got to do, when Luke and I came back after COVID, we got to run a series with them, which was awesome. I wish it lasted longer because they were really fun to work with. And we also got to work with them down in Chaotic as well.
Right.
But we had a series of matches. They were always good matches. They have great energy and no argument. They are the best tag team
Incredible,
that came
man.
from Maine. And again, now Agro's doing his thing.
All alone.
Yeah. Danger Kids on their journey.
Yeah.
So props to them. Again, both of them
Right.
are doing what they want to do
Right.
and following their
Yeah.
hearts, and I love both of them.
Yeah, I miss Danger Kid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That kid was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible wrestler.
Yeah.
All right. How about Rip Bison?
Rip Bison's a great dude. I love Rip Bison. So I worked with a guy who looked identical to him, and I don't know if you can show the picture, but I posted a picture of the guy I work with and the guy and him.
Right.
And I wanted to do an angle where that guy was dressed as him because he's also a bodybuilder, so
Okay.
they have the same
Yeah,
build as
yeah.
well. It's really weird. But no, I got to work with him. I want to say at the beginning of 2003, me and Rip, when he returned, he had a big baby come out, and I was the heel at the time.
Yeah.
So he just came and beat me up, and the crowd loved it. But he's had his opportunity over in Japan.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing, so that's awesome for him.
I mean, the first time I saw him, he was Tomahawk. That Indie character, great character.
So here's another story.
Okay.
I did a fair show for Larry.
Yeah.
And I want to say about 10 minutes before bell time, and I was the opening match, he added this random Tomahawk guy to our match. So
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to be, obviously didn't know he was going to be Rip Bison
Right.
after the fact, but it was just like 15. So I was like, can we move this match to like later in the car? And Larry's like, no. So we just went out and
Right.
did our thing, but we had a good match. Crowd went home happy. And then I got to wrestle him years later in Limitless for a pretty big crowd.
That's awesome. How about a guy that's been killing it too? BRG, Brett Ryan Goslin. I think you might have wrestled them once.
Yeah,
Maybe, right? I think
yeah.
just
When
once.
him and Channing Thomas were the Prestige.
Yeah.
Again, it was during COVID taping. So
Yeah.
there's so many guys that I got to work with then that I wish I got to work with in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
So like, it's ironic that I came back while it was COVID, but like, again, I'm an old school guy. So like, I need a crowd to tell me what to do next. Like I need the reaction in order to, whether the babies need to come back up or whether we need to. So I really wish that I had another opportunity to work with them in front of an actual crowd because BRG is doing his thing. MLW, AEW, TNA. He just did TNA.
Yeah.
Right. But he's a super talented kid. And again, someone who got in early, and he's got all the social media following, and like
He's definitely good at with social media.
right.
He really
and he's
is.
great on the stick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
And you can't
100%.
you can't teach what he does on the mic.
I mean, the Rogue Horseman, he was really, I mean, Bobby Fish could talk, but obviously Brett's the guy to do all the talking. I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, how about another young guy? I think you wrestled him at least once, but he's starting to kill it now. Manny Aries.
Yeah, I did get to have one match with him for Let's Wrestle. Yes, and he has been on his own journey as well. So, and I know he's like trying to get social media popping, and he's posting more and more. And the more he does it, the more it puts it in the algorithm. So I get to see all his stuff now, and I love the fact that he's working for Wrestling Open now, and the neighborhood's taking off, and they're bringing him up to EWA.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really grinding and. Again, he was a guy who did music before as well, so I linked up with him about that. But it's just cool to see what he's doing.
100% in the neighborhood with Kid V.
Yep.
Great tag team. All right, how about Dr. Heresy?
He's one of my fathers in wrestling. Him, Scott King, and Steve Ramsey. I can't say enough good things about Heresy either. I probably sound like a broken record, but there's just been a lot of really good influences in my life that are involved in wrestling. For as bad as you hear certain things, like I got in around a great group of guys, and the fact that Heresy is still doing what he's still doing, still got the doctor's jacket, still got the oh yeah. He's another one. So him and Booker are working together for EWA, so I know he had a say in the EWA Heavyweight Championship. And he did come give me a hug and was like, you earned this. Like, we couldn't think of anybody more deserving. And it was just, again, it's another guy that I've been looking for, like, positive reinforcement from. So it's awesome.
All right, this guy's one of my favorite guys in all of it, New England independent wrestling. Maverick Wild.
Maverick Wild, I didn't have a lot of interaction with him. I reffed a couple of his matches, but again, that was back when I was the referee. I was over in the corner. He was a funny dude. Like I loved sharing a locker room with him, and I'd sit around him because he has the quirky stories, and I just love listening to road stories. So he's one of the funnier guys in the locker room, but I didn't have any like personal interactions with him.
I got to tell you this. He told me that he was in a locker room with CM Punk and somebody was whistling, and Punk yelled at him to stop whistling. Mav went over to him and said, if you stop whistling, I'm going to smack you. He made the kid whistle. Punk gave him dirty looks, and Mav just looked at him like, shut your mouth. I'm like, wow. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because, you know, Punk can be a prick.
Yeah.
But you know something? He's so good, though, even because I was around him a lot when I catered for Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Not a very nice guy. But he was still so good that even though I knew he wasn't very nice to me, that he was incredible to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't have any personal experience with him, so I can't judge his
All
character.
right. You said him earlier, DJ Powers, another kid that's killing it.
Yes.
All over the place.
Yeah, he's taken wrestling open by storm,
Yeah.
and he has a very natural fluidity to him in the wrestling ring. So last night was the first time I really got to work with him.
Right.
But we were worked as a tag team, and I feel like we were just both very excited to do that match. But it was awesome. And he's got a lot of momentum behind him. Again, I watch him on Thursdays on Wrestling Open
Yeah.
and see what he's doing, and he's got a lot of momentum behind him, and he's doing, again, not everybody who's a heel does heel right, but
Right.
he does.
Oh, he absolutely does.
absolutely
no doubt.
does.
The Big Islanders, Makua and Kahuku.
So
Tony and Sam.
great guys. We did a
Love 'em.
series of matches with them when we were doing the Buxton shows,
Yeah.
when we were wrestling every Tuesday. Just great guys. We did this. I remember this one thing we did. We had a match in Buxton, and again, it's a little bar, so everybody had pizza, and I remember stealing pizza from a fan. And while they weren't looking, I threw the pizza at him, and I can't remember if it was Makua. It might have been Makua who randomly turned, caught the pizza, took a bite out of it, and then gave it to his partner. He took a bite out of it, and I was trying so hard to stay in character, but I was like, what the heck just happened?
Those guys were a really good team,
Yeah.
man. They
Yeah,
really
yeah.
were.
They had-
All right, this guy doesn't get brought up enough on this show. John Thornhill.
Johnny Thornhill. I worked with him
Yep.
in NCW. I worked with him up in Maine. He was an elite amateur wrestler, so that's where I connected with him
Right.
because I wrestled in high school. But it's just another great guy.
My son's favorite New England wrestler, Gino Martino.
Gino Martino. I love Gino Martino, but my mom had a crush on him, so I never wanted to hear his name.
Yeah, I bet.
From in my household, but he was another good dude who, again, was an older vet, but he took great care of me in the ring, both wrestling wise and in the locker room.
Nice.
There were times where I had heat and fans would wait for me in the locker
Right.
room, and him, Larry, Sonny would make sure I got to my car because fans would be waiting out there to see me after the show.
Nice. Did you have any interaction with Anthony Ruffo?
No.
That was his old partner in the Millennium Killers.
Yeah, no.
All right. How about the Egomaniacs? Johnny Idol and Mike Steele, another incredible tag team.
So, put this out. Johnny Idol is my dream match.
Really?
So, Frankie Armadillo was my favorite wrestler, but Johnny Idol was really the one who inspired me. The very first EWA show I went to, the way he worked as a heel is what immediately made me, I wanted to go to the show when I saw Johnny Idol, made me go, I want to do this.
Nice.
And then the very next show and the very first show that I volunteered to help with,
Yeah.
he randomly stopped and had a conversation with me. And to me, at this point, it's celebrity.
Right.
And he just shot the,
That's awesome.
yeah, he had open conversation, and Johnny Idol became, so again, if anybody's listening, Johnny Idol is my dream match.
Book it. Larry. Book it.
Larry, book it.
Do you have anything coming up? Any shows you want to plug or anything?
I just started wrestling for WFA again.
Oh, nice.
So August 29th, I'm going to New Hampshire,
Yeah.
coming back to New Hampshire, and wrestling for them. I just had my first match with them a couple weeks ago. And again, I wrestled for them back in the Steve Bradley days. So
Right.
to be able to come back and do it again, that's one coming up. I have Limitless in September, where I think I'm having a big heated payoff match
Nice.
with a guy I'm feuding with. So that should be a good one too.
Paul, thank you, man. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
sir.
on the show.
I
We'll do this
appreciate it.
again.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel's real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.